Grateful for you being alive, that's for sure. Grateful for you being here, even more for sure. We're talking about struggling with everything being perfect. This is one of those conversations that you will talk more or equally as me. Thank you. Ain't no carbonated ones in there? No. More equally as me. And sorry in advance for the content, but let's have a good discussion. So what is it? What are we talking about, Antonio? Well, struggling with everything is perfect. And I want to talk about the 19-something children dying and how this keeps happening and how some of you, some of us can't get it out of our heads. And the idea of, does God exist? And if so, does God let things like, I'm not even sure the accurate count anymore because it keeps changing, but 20 plus children dying in mass shootings. And then right before that, 10 elderly people dying in a mass shooting. Same week. It wasn't even a 7-day period. So does God let these things happen so you can believe in God if that's the case? Fair questions. These questions are hard. Write these questions down for me. Does God exist? If so, why does God let bad things happen?
Question two.
That's question 2. Does God exist? If so, why does God let bad things happen? If not, why do bad things happen? Is there a such thing as good and bad? How can we protect ourselves from the distortions of this illusion? We're going to have one hell of a class today, Phil. It is going to be good. It is going to be good. We're talking today about struggling with the fact that everything is perfect, because that's what Antonio says. That is what Jesus said, that they don't necessarily say it like me. Every teacher has their own language for their own generation. How can you, Antonio? How can you say, now I respect you. Tempestt called me, true conversation. She said she asked me, you going to try to hop on today. She called me because as she heightens in her journey, Susan, she doesn't just feel everything. She has become everything. And she couldn't, it was Tuesday, and she couldn't stop seeing the kids. She was struggling, and she said, I'm struggling. I need help. And I said, well, were you triggered? Because that's the first thing I wanted to know. Is this something in your auto suggestion? It triggered you? I have no idea what she's going to talk about. She said, well, I don't know. I guess so. I said, okay. So she said, I don't know. I guess so. This is going to be a pretty interesting conversation because she would know if she's triggered or not. And she said, I can't get the kids out of my mind. And I understand, this is her words. I understand everything is perfect, but I don't understand how this is perfect. Come on, help me, somebody. We gonna talk today. All right. I don't understand how this is perfect. I want to understand, but I don't understand. And then she said some things that are fair. Not fair. She said some things that are accurate. That I'll leave out the conversation. And then I told her, well, Tempest, I have answers for you, but in order not to violate your free will, you have to struggle with this. And she said, that makes sense. Then I told her, but since I understand your vibration, I do have a response for you. It's not necessarily the answer, but my response will lead you to the answer that you seek. And then I told her this, and write this down because we got to talk about it. If you take the creative force that give you your visions, that made you an oracle, that allow you to have prophetic gifts, and turn those forces against you, like you're doing right now, you don't need an enemy without. You will destroy yourself from within. I'm not telling you not to think about the children. As a matter of fact, I hope Congress have all your visions. I hope Congress would mourn those children so something can change. But there is a difference between what you're seeing and what you're doing. And right now, you're taking the creative source of this world, and turning it within, and you're killing yourself. And I can assure you, this is my words, those children and teachers, there are forces, there's this unity that in that great violent act grabbed them, protected their mind, body, and souls. And right now, they are being ushered into peace, love, and happiness. And there is this gentleness that they're experiencing that is outside of what we're seeing. And that creative source that is gently guiding them to the next level, whatever you may call that, is how you use the creative source of this world for you and not turn it around against you. And then I repeated what I said. If you take the creative power of this world and turn it against you, you most certainly will struggle, and you need no enemy without, because you would destroy yourself from within. All right, it's my little introduction. We're going to talk about all that. Does God exist? If so, why does God let bad things happen? If not, why do bad things happen? Is there such a thing as good and bad? How can we protect ourselves from distortion and illusion? And Tempestt, add 6 for me. And Tempestt struggling to keep a good mind in a tragic time. Sound like all of us, huh? The last thing I'll say for right now, this section, Phil, I don't know how they're going to preach this Sunday. Hold on. Let me keep it real with you, Susan. It's real hard. They're going to do it. But it's real hard to stand up and say, God is good, after another senseless, massive shooting. I didn't tell you it's fake. I'm just saying every imam, every pastor, every preacher, every speaker, this is the first time all year I've dreaded Thursday. I was glad that I forgot about my doctor appointment yesterday. I literally sighed a sigh of relief, man, because I don't want to talk about this right now. Because I knew if I talked about it, Susan, I had something to say. And I knew what I needed to say was not necessary. I understood, do not take this tragedy and make it a platform. How do you get up Sunday morning and tell people God is good after 20-something key plus teachers, plus 10 elderly and other mass shootings that happened like 2 weeks before? I it's too many. I don't even. Adrian said something so tough yesterday. Kids is used to it. Mind blown. I remember the Columbine shooting. I was a child. That was an abomination that would never happen again, Phil. Boy, were we wrong. Okay. Before we get to these 6 questions, let's free talk. Who's got the floor?
Well, God never said that there wasn't going to be evil in the world. I mean, that right there, there's going to be evil, because this isn't the perfect place. This isn't our perfect place. This isn't our final destination. So while we're here, there's going to be tsunamis that wipe out, thousands of people, men, women, and children in an instant. It's just that we as people of faith, just really everybody, whether they have faith or not, when it's little children, hurt in disbelief that their life has been cut short. But I believe that the little children that go, they're special, Now, mind you, if this was my child, I would be hysterical and, freaking out and everything else, because that's what those that are left behind are going to feel. But that child is nothing but sunshine now, nothing but love and sunshine and peace and all those things that we think of. It's those that are left behind that are devastated and asking why. Well, that's earthly people's job, to control evil as best we can. And when we don't, these things happen. I remember when, I got word that there was, I can't remember if it was a bomb threat or active shooter or whatever at our kids. And I told this before at the high school. And I got in my minivan and went flying, as fast as I could. And I didn't care how fast I was going to the school. And when I pulled into the school, I saw SWAT teams coming down on the roof of the building. And my son was in there. And I went, as soon as I drove up, though, they were on the bus, and I could hear one bus, Sorrentino, your mom, here's your mom, pulling up. And so he hung his head out the window and he said, I'm okay, Mom. I'm okay. So they had, they were getting ready to pull out to leave. They had all the kids bust out, but they, I think of how they reacted and came down with SWAT teams. Where were those? Yes, I just thought of that. Why didn't they have that kind of stuff going on? The questions for me, why is why did it, go on so long? And that is a human error that it's going to be revealed soon. That was an error there. I then drove further onto the campus to the middle school and went into the school, and nothing was going on there, but I walked into the principal's office, and they're like, I couldn't even get it out of my mouth. I was like, you want Sarah Maria, don't you? And yes, I want to take her home right now. And so they got her and they took her home. So I think of those parents running there and going there, and the desperation that they feel and the broken hearts that they're going to have. I saw the interview of a lovely man from the Sandy Hook, and how he was sitting with his wife, and he said, those parents are going to have their Friday night, like we have our Friday night. We sit on the couch all these years later, but that was their Friday night. Maybe it was a Friday, I think, but they're going to be having their Friday night now. And so all those people, it's changed their life. And a lot of them have gone on to do great things and helpful things to improve, to help those living where they can. It's just that there's in this world, and there always will be in this world. So that's all I have to say about it.
No, that's you said something good. Yes, thank you so much. I want to throw a wrench in here. I agree with everything Susan said, and I have no intentions on throwing a wrench on what she said. But I have every intentions on throwing a wrench in a piece of content that was said, because I watched the 48 Laws of Power happen. Don't think of Susan, don't think of what she said, because to me, all that was perfect. Well, everything is perfect, but that for sure was perfect. She brought up Sandy Hook. Yes. And which is in Newtown, Connecticut. Can you do me a favor and pull up a map of Connecticut for me? And then she brought up the parents, the assault helicopters and SWAT teams. And they're like, hey, too much going on here. Fair enough. I saw something. This is why I want all of you to learn the 48 Laws of Power. This is not my agenda. This isn't agenda driven, but I saw something that I haven't said anything about. And I know I'm not the only person that saw it. Pull up the map. I want her to pull up the map before I tell you what it is. I want you to see it. I want you to see it with your own eyes.
I think I know.
Yeah. So this is a map of Connecticut. And then, okay, good job. You're zooming in well. And somewhere in this, you'll find Newtown. But I want you to think about something real quick. Actually, I'm not even worried about Newtown but no, you can look for it. But I want to show you something. If you can zoom out for me. Zoom out for me. Zoom a little again. That's as far to go. All right, but that's a body of water, right? And the Atlantic Ocean, yes? Is it safe to say that Massachusetts and Connecticut and New York and Rhode Island and anything where a boat or a plane can land into has an immigration problem? You can stop your screen. No. We got to talk about this, okay? There's massive immigration in these places. As a matter of fact, New York is a hub of immigration. Let's just keep it real. But ICE wasn't sent to Sandy Hook. I watched that. I watched the police response involve immigration police. Now let's go back to what Susan said. I went to the school and I wanted my child out. Very respectable. It breaks my heart that many parents couldn't even go to the school. This is what I brought up Tempestt, right? What was hurting Tempestt was she was looking on Twitter and people were asking they were posting missing person reports because they couldn't find out if their child was alive. It says something about this human experience, as Susan brought up, that same immigration over there, Newtown, there was no ICE sent there. There was no immigration. But it was for Uvalde, I think that's how you say it. And the very parents who were worried couldn't even go check on their children for fear of being arrested, detained, and deported. That is a very strong element that is heart-wrenching. I did not bring up politics. I brought up geography and police response. You can put your politics however in that you want to, but it should be highlighted. Everybody couldn't check on their child. So my question to you, and Vastine, you got 5 minutes way. My question to you would be, what circumstances are acceptable to not be able to check on your possibly murdered, gunned down child that are acceptable in American standards? We got one answer: a brown city. We got one answer. What say you? Is there another? Is that acceptable? Keep your politics, but is that acceptable? Should we live in a world in which you can't even, I don't even want to say, these words are so silly what I'm about to say, but you can't even be comfortable checking on your possibly murdered child. I don't even know how to, there's nothing about that sentence that actually sits well. But if there's ever a time to be comfortable in anything, the doors, the gates, the aisles should open wide open for you to check on your possibly murdered and or injured child. And I mean no disrespect, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but it brings me back now to our first question. Does God exist? And then now in our second question, and if so, how can God sit back and allow parents not to be able to check on their children because they have been murdered? We live in interesting times when Twitter is more reliable for retrieving our children than our laws, our hearts, our policies, and our law enforcement uses. Let's go. Does God exist?
Antonio,
Yes, sir.
couple things. The border police have an office there in that town. Guess how many officers are in that office?
4.
100.
Oh, holy crap.
Number two, the way that was it AR-15, the way the bullets come out of the gun, they really hit the body and rip it apart. It's a tumbling fashion. So some of those kids weren't even recognizable, but they had to take DNA from the parents to then analyze the DNA to find out what kid was what. They were unrecognizable because of the damage of what that gun does.
I'm lost for words on that second one. I Googled what Phil just said. Here is the current population of Uvalde in 2022. 15,860. Wait a minute. My mailing address is in Lamarck, Texas. Deanna, humor me, please. Mm-hmm. Google the population of Lamarck, Texas. Let's just the population of Lamarck, Texas. You could probably put 2022, but we just did a census 2 years ago, so it's 18,000. Let's see how many police officers are in the Lamarck Police Department. I know the number, but I want to see if Google does. I'm very interested to know the size of the Lamarck Police Department. Well, first off, you can look from that picture right there. There's 4 people in that photo. They all administrative. Go down. Okay, no problem. You stop. Lamarck got 6 cars. They got 5 to 9 officers. That's it. Lamarck don't even have a school district. Just lost that. 100 people for 15,000 people. This is 48 laws of power. There's a reason that number is so high. So how does Antonio get to claim that everything's perfect? Prophet Jay, I'd like to tell you that if you're not struggling with your religion, you're not exercising it. I'd like to tell you that. If you're not struggling with everything is perfect, you are not exercising everything is perfect. It is hard to hold the position of love in a world occupied with hate. Right now, there's multiple empaths on this call. And I know by the time this call over, y'all are done for the day. You've been triggered at least 12 times in 30 minutes. And I might be being modest, Susan. It might be 5 times per minute. And it's hard. It's hard to enjoy the gift of being an empath in such a time as this.
Antonio,
Come on, Susan, I'm ready. Yes, ma'am.
911 couldn't say. The little girl had dialed 911 in the room for help. 911 couldn't save them. It was too late. He was already, and then he turned the gun on her, blew her up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I read where he barricaded himself in the room.
yes, he did. And, they're saying, I can't remember exactly, 25 to 30 minutes or something. He's in that room. I don't understand how he ran by whatever police were there with their guns. He ran by them and ran into the back and then stayed in there for that long. And where was everybody? If he ran by them, they should have been chasing him and running right with him. I don't know why they let him run by and go in and all that time. That is going to be the next thing after, the pain and comfort and all that. It's going to come big time on why that time. How could he be in there that long when he literally ran by him? I don't get that.
I watched Susan, you bring up a good point. There are two things that, I told you, Tempestt called me. There are two things that made me struggle and everything is perfect. If this phone call. And then I watched people, I watch news lines, watch news headlines of people justify the shooting passively, all passively. 48 laws of power style, Susan. Because it was Latino on Latino. The Los Angeles Times, look it up yourself, Google it for me, please. The Los Angeles Times headline says, Latino on Latino crime, what now? Look it up.
That's terrible. Ugh.
That's an appropriate response, Susan.
It is. It is.
Yeah, that side is a very appropriate response.
I know.
It is. Just Google Latino on Latino. Yeah, just Google Latino on Latino crime. What now? I saw it. I seen it with my own. I seen it with my own eyes. Hold on, I got you. Let me. Oh, Latino on Latino mass shooting. Here it is. Stop your screen. Here it is for you. A Latino on Latino mass shooting. What now? Is that the LA Times? Yeah, I was right. LA Times. Disgusting. They're absolutely disgusting. Black on black crime propaganda. Latino on Latino crime don't even have the ring to it as propaganda. Black on black crime. And nobody says white on white crime. All this is all propaganda. My friends, it's hard to struggle with everything is perfect with headlines like that. That's difficult. That'll make you, again, I say, the preachers standing in the pulpit this Sunday or Saturday, the imams standing in the congregation in their pulpits on Sundays or Saturdays. I pray for them all. Because it's going to be very hard saying the goodness of God in such a time as this. And here's the deal. Somebody's got to do it, Frida. That's why they are called. I didn't say don't do it. I didn't say doing it is wrong. I'm trying to highlight only the called is crazy enough to stand flat-footed and still have the responsibility to convince you that God is good. And I just checked the reports while Susan was talking. Up more than 21, the last report, 21 confirmed dead. It makes you wonder, is God real? It makes you wonder, if God is real, why do these things happen? Of course, if you've been listening, this isn't a doubting conversation. This isn't a doubting God conversation. This isn't a support believers conversation. This isn't support atheists or non-believers conversation. This is just to say we struggle with everything being perfect. That's the name of the... I should have gave y'all a disclaimer. Nothing in this class today would be non-emotionally charged. I should have did that. There's nothing emotionally neutral today. And we have a responsibility. That's why I was so glad I had an appointment Wednesday. And I had to cancel the morning meeting. If it wasn't finances, I had somebody else do it, but anybody talk about finances. I was so glad because I've been struggling with this shooting. First off, I didn't even know the shooting happened because my modem keeps going in and out, in and out, in and out, because I got to get some tree cutters to cut the trees. The trees are just smashing the box, and it keeps going in and out, in and out. So I had no internet for 4 hours. It wasn't until y'all said something during the keynote. After it, I think it was Phil, was like, let's pray for... What the hell is Phil talking about? And I had to look at my phone that had just, my internet just came back on. So I was 4 hours behind, and I felt devastated. And I knew it wasn't time for me to speak yet, because I wasn't going to come from a place of learning. I was going to come from a place of high pistivity. Go ahead, Phil, and then Deanna. Mm-hmm. Y'all see the boogie holding? The shack. Phil, why would it be beneficial for us to dive into this book in this time?
Because it talks about a man whose daughter was abducted and his search to try to save her, and how God intervened. In there, God is a Black woman in this book. So it's a fascinating read. They made a movie out of it too, but it's a fascinating. Yeah. I was trying to find some parts in it that would make reference to, but it's hard because you need to have some context to understand what they're saying. Yeah. If I would read one part, you'd be hard to connect the dots. But amazing book. One book in my life that once I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. And then we spent some time with William Paul Young in Columbus. We have a picture of the three of us in Columbus. Nice. And he tells a story about when he wrote the book for his kids, because he was sexually abused in grade school, and he was trying to work through that. But he wrote the book for his kids, and he said when he wrote it, he got done writing, he had no money to publish it. But the story was, so now he's published the book. They're doing some promotion, and he needs to do some video work. So he calls one videographer, he's busy. He calls the second videographer, he calls the third videographer, he's going to help him. They're driving up to the house that he lived in, and he told us this story personally. They drive up to the house that he lived in with the third videographer. He posed and said, the third video says, "Oh my gosh." And William Paul said, "What's wrong?" He says, "That's the house. One Christmas, somebody told me that they didn't have any money. So I put $100, I put in an envelope and stuck it in the door. William Paul Young says, "Oh my gosh." And the third videographer, "What?" He said, "That's the $100 I used to go to Kinko's to produce the first copies of the book."
Wow.
Wow.
Oh man. Wow. That just gave me chills. That's incredible. That is incredible. See, a preacher need to tell that story on Sunday morning. That'll help with the whole God is good, reminder. That'll help. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, he was a missionary child. And so they would be on missions pretty much his whole youth life. And his parents were so involved with the mission, he was by himself. And that's where he was always sexually abused. So, him and his wife had so many struggles because of, what he had been through. And then finally, and there's more to that. But anyway, so finally they decided to get help. And that's when, he got help with that whole issue because it was interfering with everything in their marriage. And she then told him, you need to write this story. You need to write the story, make wrong right, and so the children really know.
Fair enough.
Really understand and know why through all this time. And so that's what happened. And it was such an honor to be with him and to hear this story and for him to tell it, just the miracle of it all.
Yeah. You just made me realize something, Susan, as you was talking. You made me realize two things. For one, you and Phil raised missionary children because y'all crazy as hell. Y'all been on mission for quite some time. So y'all kids are like missionary children. And I've never met a missionary child that wasn't trying to change the world. Now that I think about it. Yeah. They all are doing something that the normal people call weird to change the world. There's a different, we know we come up real mission trips, like, like real, these people who give up things for the service of others. And now that I think about it, I've never thought about it till you was just talking. And now that I think about it, first off, that explains y'all kids for sure, but it explains pretty much everything about being exposed at a young age to benevolent work in which you view other people as equals and you give your time to build sand under them so they can be equal. That sticks with you. I never thought about that just now. I've never met, I know some, this, I don't want to compare, but I've never met a missionary child that wasn't still actively as an adult trying to change the world.
And Chad's doing that.
I think about it.
Chad works with kids with disabilities on his own. He's doing that in Miami now.
But you and Phil were doing missionary work just to people in boardrooms and stuff. You don't have to go to El Salvador to be a missionary, right? You don't have to go there. You can do mission work at home too.
Well, back to the story when I pulled up to get Chad and everything, and he said, he's yelling out the window, and I said, is all your friends there? He said, Mom, Reggie's not here. He we're very few Black people in the school, and Reggie was one of his really good friends, and he was cool, and he said, Mom, he jumped out the back. He said, I'm getting my Black ass out of here. And he jumped out the window. He went running through the fields. And, I said, Chad, do you want me to go find him? So I drove around, trying to find him, trying to see if I could find him, and I couldn't find him. And I knew he just kept running until he got somewhere. And once Chad got home, he got in touch with him. But that was a profound thing too. that
Yeah, but we
he
taught
wasn't
that as
out with the kids and get in line and get out. He took it, he jumped out the window and off he went.
we are taught that from kids. The same way we taught at 3 years old, 2 years old, duck down, police officer. The same way we taught if something happened, you can get your black self out of there. You understand? In real talk, we got jokes about it. I'm serious. If a bad, that's why you ain't never seen no black folk on where animals attack. If a bear in the woods, we don't.
But there were kids jumping out this school. Kids were jumping out the windows. Parents were breaking the glass. And kids out.
Mm-hmm.
Now all this is going on while the guy's in there shooting, and the police still haven't done anything. So the parents took action from.
Well, yeah, you bring up another good point. Are we becoming, I'd use a few words, used to mass shootings, desensitized to mass shootings, or any one of these words, doesn't matter, or phrases? Do y'all think that is happening? Because I have a follow-up question that I really want to ask. This is just a bridge for me. What do you think? No wrong answer.
Yes, because I expect it to happen. I expect once a month a breaking news story to come out and multiple people have died because somebody came through with whatever and decided to murder people. I expect it now because that's the algorithm of America at this point.
Fair enough. That last statement, that is the algorithm of America. There's no doubt about it. There will be another mass shooting. Google for me how many mass shootings were in 2021. We have more mass shootings than what you all understand. Yes. Way more mass shootings than what you all understand. I have a question, but I'm going to phrase my question into a comment to save some time because there's so much I want to discuss. Yes. Okay. Okay. You she should be able to share the screen. I don't even want to. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's another. 22 is perfect. 2022 is perfect. No, please, by all means, big that link up is what you would say. Read the headline. All right. That's there it is. I found it.
It's 21 weeks into the year, and America has already seen 213 mass shootings, and this was updated on May 25th, 2022.
Right there. Stop right there. Stop your screen. Supporting Tempestt Point and Susan Point. I have to ask y'all this question. Who is shocked by that number?
I'm totally shocked by that number. Matthew McConaughey, that's his hometown.
Wow,
the town.
Didn't know that.
Yes, and he grew up there. He grew up poor. He talked about how close they are. And let's see what he does to support that town.
Susan, yeah, no doubt. I just told Deanna to do something, Susan, because it's a shocker that I'm about to have her post on the screen. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I went to night school, so I don't do mathematics during the day very well. But doesn't that number work out to be 10 a day?
Okay, that's the thing. So Phil's on the same page. It does. It absolutely.
10 a day?
10 a day. Yeah. Go ahead. Share the screen. 10 a day. No, he's right. So when Tempestt says that's the algorithm, a set of instructions. Look, y'all. All right, you can stop it right there. Listen, a set of instructions. What an algorithm.
10 a week. That's 10 a week.
10 a week. Think about this, y'all. Well, hell, we're training to 10 a day. And here is Antonio saying everything is perfect. So Antonio, you're saying that it is perfect that innocent lives are being taken every day, every week. I respect you, Antonio. I love it. I love the Lord, but there's a problem with this. I'm not saying I got a problem with you, but I am struggling to grasp everything is perfect. I get it. I absolutely get it. And I don't mean to speak on your behalf, but it is fair to say that if you're not struggling with your faith, you're not using it. It is fair to say that. If you're not struggling with your faith, you're not using it. If you're not struggling to love your husband, you ain't loving your husband. You can't be in something and then not struggle with that very thing that you're in. Because eating well tastes nasty. Eating poorly tastes great. You know why? Because we eat so much preserved things that are meant for dead things. We crowd it with sugar to cover up the death. So eating, like this is a black coffee. That's it. The one always gets 0 calories. Caffeine's a different story. It is disgusting. The only way I drink it is black. I don't drink none of it. Same order. Black, what size do you want? Venti. Want room for cream? Don't save room for poison, is what I'm really saying. Right? Don't save room for the poison. This is good. Let's fill me up into the coffee.
Antonio?
I'm trying to tell you, yes, sir.
My line is preservatives make the food so the germs won't eat it. Yes, we can put this food on this shelf for months, but no germ will touch it. But go ahead, put it into your body.
You need to say that more often. I wouldn't have a stomach right now. That is good. That is good. No, that is it. Yeah, the germs won't eat it, but you eat it. Give it to your kids. You know, their metabolism is high, etc. I want to ask y'all a question, and I've listed out the questions, and I've been saving it. Tough, huh? Because you know I'm going to say tomorrow, there's no such thing as good and bad. You know I'm going to say it. But this sure seems bad, doesn't it? How can you say that, Antonio? Well, you know what? I struggle. I am struggling today telling you there is no such thing as bad. This is bad. I have the right to struggle. I am open in that right to openly struggle with everything is perfect and 213 mass shootings. I saw something. I saw, I like to look, I like to people watch. I'm fascinated, especially on Mondays. I'm fascinated on Mondays to watch people. But you can always tell who's going somewhere. You can always tell who's got into a routine of life on Monday. You can always tell. I'm fascinated. I'm also fascinated to watch people on their birthdays too. We have a saying around here, every day is your birthday. Because on your birthdays, you just expect the law of attraction to come through your life and bless the hell out of you. You just expect it. You wake up and be like, somebody owed me something. You better tell me happy birthday. Where's my gift? And the truth is, you need to walk around like that every day. You know? But you'll see the most negative people on their birthday than the most positive. I'm excited about that. I love the people watch. So I've been people watching, and one of my greatest platforms to people watch is Twitter. It's such a great place for sociology. It's a really great place to study humans. So great, 10 years ago, the Library of Congress saved and stored 1 billion tweets. That really happened. Look it up so people can see. Library of Congress saves 1 billion tweets. That really happened. Do you understand how insane that is? That the Library of Congress says, wait a minute, we're in a very unique time in history. Let's save people saying, just got out the shower, about to get back in the shower. That's how I view y'all tweets. Sit on the screen while I'm talking. I'm interested in what I've been seeing. And I heard Adrian say something. See, look, Library of Congress will no longer archive every tweet. They've been archiving tweets since 2006. The Library of Congress has 170 billion tweets. A billion tweets a day. You can stop it. Y'all can tell how much I read. I'm just a collector of random information. Listen to me. I was listening to Adrian drop some couple of facts. And she was, I think it was yesterday, or no, maybe today. And she was like, take the big guns. They was like, wait a minute now. I got big guns and big guns and big guns. Come up in here and try to take my big guns. Pow, 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 pow. And I was thinking about that. Democrats like guns. Republicans like guns. So what happens? Right? Let's think about that for a moment. What happens? How do you solve a gun problem when both sides don't want to solve the gun problem? This is a good question. It is a very good question. We are a very unique country. It's a very good question. Phil said something that blew my mind the other day, and that made sense. It made sense. America is young. But when Phil said there are latrines in Europe older than America, my mind was blown. I was like, he is absolutely right. That's bathrooms. There are outhouses older than the country. I was like, wow. That's a lot younger than 248 years. That is, we're not older than a bathroom young. That's a different kind of young. Go ahead.
Well, I do have a way with words.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't have a gun problem. We've got a mental health problem.
And then maybe that's why smart people are saying, let's just do a mental health check. I do find it interesting, though, that my car is more regulated than my guns. I find that interesting. I do find that interesting. I also find it interesting, Susan, that what we do in every area of life, well, let's say this to keep the politics out of it, taking a scientific or an historic approach to what I'm about to say next. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but we do this manage the losses, manage the bad apples approach to everything, and it works. I'll give you an idea. I had to go renew my license, and I let it be gone for so long. In Texas, if you don't renew it in 2 years, you got to start all over again. And I've just been using my passport because I'm too lazy to go into DPS, because DPS, who wants to go into the Department of Public Safety? That's dumb. They all need coaching. Nobody in the Department of Public Safety smiles. Nobody in there smiles whatsoever.
You can't
Yes, ma'am.
You can't do it online.
I could have, but I'm a lazy loser. Oh no, you can't do it online in Texas. Not your license.
Not because you waited as long.
Oh yeah. Because I waited so long. Yeah, because I waited so long. Yes, that made me retake the test. And here's the cool thing.
Go that way.
The cool thing, yeah. You got 2 years. We got hard ID laws in Texas for sure. I waited 2 years, and the cool thing is when I got to go back through the experience of what everybody else got to go through. And they make you take a test, obviously written test, blah, blah, blah. It's general. Even if you don't study, you can still pass it. But then they make you watch this video now. And it's all about saving lives from a different perspective. It's about distracted driving. And the science is, you look at your text message, assuming this is the part of distracted driving, but even when you look back up at the road, you're still distracted for 8 more seconds after you stop looking at your text message. And what we do is we say, well, Phil, manage the losses. Create an environment. You can't stop people from dying. So don't stop people from dying. Stop as many people from dying. We do that everywhere. We do it with alcohol. We do it with scheduled medicine in the hospitals. We do it with insurance policies. But all the areas we've politicized, we don't do it. We don't do it with the war on drugs. We don't do it with guns. No, this is very important to understand. We manage. Say it again.
COVID became politicized, so we don't do it with COVID.
But we don't do it with COVID. That's a great example, Susan. That's a great example. Yeah. But yes, that is absolutely stupid. It's a great example. As soon as we politicize something, we stop doing what we know works, and we start justifying how it doesn't work. I do find it interesting, and I don't mean to do this. I got to find a non-political way to do this. I do find it interesting that the person who receives the most lobbying from the NRA and other gun organizations tweeted firstly about thoughts and prayers and how me and my spouse are with you all. I do find that very interesting. I do, because every school of thought and every sacred text tells you, well, your treasure is where your heart is. And where your heart is where your treasure is. And when you're getting $368,000 a year from gun lobbying, I don't think that you can have thoughts and prayers for gun violence. Now, surely you can. I use the word I don't think as it's called a euphemism. But I want you to think about that. It is, let's just go, what if I accepted, we're going to take another emotionally charged subject. What if I accepted money from ATS, from the National Registration of Pedophiles, and I was number one? I said, let's take another emotionally charged subject. That was your warning right there. Everybody went, no, right now. I'm doing it on purpose. And then when the next celebrity, Jared from Subway or something, gets caught in child pornography, here I am tweeting and doing the Thursday call about how much I am grieving in this moment. That's actually what the tweet said. I'm not joking. That's actually what the tweet said. I would be a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it this way then. How can I take sex trafficking money, but then stand against sex trafficking? Okay. How can I be a friend to somebody who don't like Susan and tell me they don't like Susan, and then involve me in their conversations about not liking Susan, and I actually have the conversation about not liking Susan, and let them continue in the conversation about not liking Susan, and agree with them not liking Susan, and my favorite part, take their money because they don't like Susan, and then say, Phil, my heart grieves it's just one of these things. I'm not attempting to be facetious here, insulting remark, but I am attempting to take this conversation from multiple objective angles. If I am accepting income, no problem. If I'm number one in accepting income, no problem. But if what I am accepting kills or is responsible for 213 mass shootings in 25 weeks, then there you go. Maybe something needs to change. Is that fair? Phil was right. That's 10 mass shootings a week. 10 mass shootings a week. You know how hard it is to get 10 customers a week? Do you know how wealthy I would be if your company got 10 new customers a week? Go ahead, Phil.
And don't they define a mass shooting as 4 or more?
Yeah, 4 or more, 6 or more. I can't remember which one it is. It's something right. Like that. It's 4 or more, 6 or more. Yep. 4 or more, 6 or more. And the crazy thing is, I wouldn't 213 news cycles. I saw a tweet, Phil, that, oh my God, what did it say? Man, hold on. I'm going to come back to it. 4 more. All right, Phil's right. 4 more. Mass shooting. Share it on the screen so people can see it. You gotta, there's always a Antonio Smith out there going, Phil's wrong. And you always gotta, show it on the screen. There it is. Involving 4 more victims at 1 or more locations or close to one another. That's FBI. Okay, thank you so much. I saw, somebody said something about the news cycle. I'm gonna have to remember it. It blew my mind. I just find it interesting. I find it interesting that our laws no longer serve the people; they serve our interests. I mean, I'm not shocked. I just find it interesting. Whenever you are motivated by money, you're never going to shock me what you do next. It's not, if money is your motivation, if protecting your position is your motivation, I will not be shocked at what you do next. This is, you do understand. Okay, if you don't understand, let me say it this way. I said it before, but I haven't said it in a long time. All of us humans, when we get enough, whatever enough means, I don't know what enough is. Okay, I don't know what enough is. It could be enough votes, enough members, enough students, enough congregants in the church, and whatever it is, whatever enough is to you, whatever journey, enough houses sold, whatever journey is for you. The natural human response is to protect that enough. But you didn't come here to protect enough. You came here to share abundance. You came here to risk it and share it. And you got some ancestors out there. It doesn't matter if you're of the faith, but you got some ancestors out there that try to explain this. Those who try to gain their lives will lose it. Those who are willing to lose it will gain it. Right? This is that attempt trying to explain this. It works. It worked to that culture. It means something, gaining and losing means something different now. So I have a controversial question. How do we protect ourselves from everything going on? And that one I'm actually going to give you the answer. That's why I want the rest of this conversation to go. How do we protect ourselves? And I know people like Grace, she's in a meeting right now, and Ashia, who else is like this? Frida, just those people. Like, give me the steps. Just step 1, step 2, step 3, because their brains work like that. Their brains work. Nothing wrong with that. I would love to give you the steps of protecting yourself from distortions like this, but that would violate your free will. You get to take those steps upon thine own. But I do want to have an open conversation. Tempestt, well, you probably can't talk. Arshia, how are you protecting yourself during this time? Because you are a bleeding heart if I've ever seen one.
Well, I be on social media posting my business. But when I seen the things going down the timeline, I was affected. What I did was I was just praying because it kept tugging at me. So what I did is I just protect the conversations. I protect who's around me, and I just stay positive. And luckily, I was in that challenge with Shaquita and my other customer success program, so that kept me focused on that. So it didn't affect me as much. So I just kept myself focused on other stuff for the time being.
All right. So you're guarded. I'm gonna just reduce that to you guarding yourself from energy leaks, is what you're saying. You're not letting your energy leak out in unnecessary places. I got you. That's quite respectable. So I heard Phil said a lot of smart stuff yesterday and the day before. You really did. He was just the last 48 hours. It's been dropping knowledge, an unusual amount of knowledge. Really, this I already do it, but this was like way too much. I mean, way more than, not too much, but way in abundance. He said, I cut the news off. I just, I can't stand it no more. I stop. I get to a point and I put on the gaming network, the game show network. And I laughed. I think that was a Bastille call. I laughed because that's what the hell a humor consultant would do. Like, this was what I was thinking in my head. He is on brand, is what I said to myself. He said, this isn't humor. This is devastating. Let me go put on some humor and have it be about gaming and game shows. And I laughed. Was that yesterday? I laughed to myself. I literally laughed out loud. Not like the LOL we say when we don't laugh out loud. That's more like salt. Smiled a little bit. Smiled a little, then text or something. I don't know, just making something up. But you get what I'm saying? I laughed out loud because I said, this man is protecting himself with humor. That makes some sense. Right? That makes sense. And then Susan dropped some dollars this morning while I was at Starbucks and said, humor is health. I don't know what the hell is going on in Florida right now, but between Phil and Susan, they are carrying Florida all by themselves. I don't know what's going on. She's right. Humor is health. It is in the health industry. It's medication. It is medication. It is. It's medication. It sure is. And they might want to change the little motto up a little bit. We are in the enjoyment of everything, including the health industry. I don't know.
There's fun exercise. There's laughter yoga. So for me, what do? He's watching the game shows. Well, I'm having fun exercising. I'll turn the music up and dance around and do my stuff, and I feel better when I put that energy into my body. Then I feel better.
No, that is appropriate. It's equally feel doing the humor and gaming because Susan been working out since she was 2 years old. We know she work out of heels sometimes. She got special Nikes to go for cross running. She got short running, but it's also why her body looks like that. She earned what she looks like. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Is a workout. Very
fair enough.
On your feet all day, at a convention in heels is a workout. You don't need any other workout.
Yeah, buddy. As soon as I processed in my brain that y'all stand on y'all tiptoes all day, I went, whoa.
this is difficult. I didn't even think of heels. I mean, I'm a boy, so I don't think of heels like that. But once I learned, y'all on your tiptoes all day. Well, you gotta have some serious shin, calf. You gotta have the ball of your feet be soft enough so a man will like it, but hard enough so it don't hurt and blister. It's a whole lot of what's that saying? Beauty is pain. Well, that is accurate. That is accurate. That's accurate for sure. Go ahead, Phil.
What I do to protect myself is I'm a follower of the Nazarene. I know that reincarnation is a fact. I use astrology to prioritize. I practice free will, and I know we are all one.
And I know we're all one. So that might be 4 segments of your book. Because that was good. That was really, really good. Really good. I think, well, maybe 5 seconds. He said, oh, she wants to repeat it again, Phil. She's taking up.
I have follower of the Nazarene. You believe that reincarnation is a fact. You use astrology to prioritize. And what did you say after that?
I practice free will. And then I know we are all one.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that book, Many Lives, Many Masters. I've sent it. You can get it for free. You can listen to it for free on YouTube. But if you have a question about reincarnation, just go to YouTube and put in Many Lives, Many Masters, and they have the book there for you on audio that you can just listen to it for free. And if that doesn't convince you, then I don't know what to say.
Find that Many Lives, Many Masters on YouTube, share it into the chat, and also put it in the notes too, as well. Also put it in the notes too as well.
Hey,
go ahead,
Antonio.
Sandra, because I saw you unmute. I saw you. Oh, okay, go Dolores. Damali, then Sandra.
I just want to add one thing. I happen to have to be at the school the last couple of days for all these events with the kids. And one thing that has really helped me is that every time I'm in the school, I'm like overwhelmed with gratefulness because of where my kids are. You know, the school they're in is very safe. It's in a very loving environment. And it's just being grateful for where they are and them being safe and knowing that that they're okay where they are.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. No, well, am I unmuted? Yeah, okay, yeah, I am unmuted. Yes, that is important to know. Of course, and I'm sure the other parents start the same thing too. I don't mean to take away from what you're saying or add to what they're saying, but it does help. And to Damali's point, this is why her and her husband are doing everything they would have done, everything they can to change their zip code. They live in a nice place. Yes, they do deserve class for that. Plus, on their way to changing their zip code again. It does matter. It does. Money does matter. Your zip code will determine the level of education your children get, including safety, including opportunities, all sorts of stuff. And Susan been trying to preach that to y'all for 5 years now. Go ahead, Phil. Oh, I'm sorry. Sandra, go ahead, Sandra. Because I know she at work. She's sneaking on. Oh, share it.
Hey, in this space, I wanted to say a lot of things, but I'm going to minimize what I had to say and say it. Try to say it as quickly as
you can talk as long as you want. Just don't get in trouble at work.
Right, that part. Respect is respect. One of the things that I have been told and shown for a while now is that, of course, the enemy is real. One of the tricks that he has used all these years is that he's not real. It's not him, it's the humans. He don't have nothing to do with it. They have free will. They doing what they want to do. But you are being seduced into doing what I want you to do. So
No, that's
I
actually
stand
fact.
behind and throw the rock, and then you finish throwing it and take the blame for it. One of the things that he wants humans to do is to lose control and frantically forget that they were created in the image of the Almighty God. And when you
That's
pull
also fair.
covering down over you, it pulls down everything that negatively speaks opposite of that. It's difficult to see if you're
Mhm.
not looking through your spiritual vision, because the world is not made up of spiritual things that have not appeared out of nowhere. They are made up of spiritual things that never existed anywhere except for in the Almighty God's power. So when we
Yeah.
believe and understand that we operate in those quarters, then we change our perceptive of what's going on. Everything has to come to a head in order for those who can change things to stand up. There will be
Mm.
no moving if there's no pushing. If you're not pushed out of your comfort zone, where you make a stand against that which has come to say, I rule over you, you don't rule over me, then there will be no ruling in that space. I say, when we, and I don't mean race, I mean people in general, when we realize our power and we stand up in it, which is what the prayer, the Lord's Prayer, not our prayer, the Lord's Prayer means, which is why the word says the righteous prayer, or the prayer of the righteous one, availeth much. Because the enemy don't pray. He just do what he want to do. He's been spoiled. He does what he wants to do. And he wants us to fall for every trick. Because before the calm comes, there is a hell rising. And after the calm comes, that there's going to be another hell rising. And we have to remember our stance. We have to remember what we're here to do. We all have a job. And I see, I'm just saying what I see. I see that
You ain't saying nothing wrong.
playing a huge part in, oh my God, silencing the enemy's loud voice as if he is the lion running around ruling things, but he has no real rule because he already has been conquered. He is kicking and stomping because he know that he has been defeated. Defeat doesn't mean that you are overtaken. Defeat means that you have risen and you have taken over. He has not been defeated. He's been defeated. He has no say so. He has no power. His power that he's using is borrowed. Actually, it's ours because we have dominion. We plant seeds and we dominate. That is what we do. And when we stand and rise and understand that we don't have to take a fall for nothing and no one, let me tell you something. Real talk, just saying, because he pisses me off, but I love him so because he teaches me. There used to be a time in school where people would mess with my sisters, and I would go to school and I'd pick them off. Oh, you jumped my sister? Okay. Hey, how you doing? No, we cool. We cool. Because I see who you are. I see what you portraying. No more problems. And that happened for, it was 5 of us. I pick them off. So as long as we stay calm and know that we could pick them off, then there's no problem. But we have to know that we stand in that power. I don't give a darn what nobody say. I know that God is real. And that's why he says, if you're on my side, I got you. Because I'm almighty, regardless of what might you see in the world. Use your third eye and see me. Because everything that you seeing, it will not stand. It cannot stand because I'm almighty. I'm be quiet. Okay. I'm just
No,
saying.
you did well. You did well. You did well. You got an amen from Law, that's for sure. You got one from me. I want to go back to the beginning of your conversation when you brought up free will. And then she brought up right after that, the enemy. Convince y'all the enemy don't exist. Yes, go ahead.
Confirm the book so I can put it in.
Oh, yeah. She wants to confirm the book, Phil, that you were talking about so she can put it in the notes. Go ahead. We're going to let her share it on the screen. But you got to share with your mic unmuted because everything's entertainment.
Yes, sir. I am. Oh, wait a minute. I lost my website. Oh, there it is. Okay. And let me stop this so I can go back and do it again. Now that I have it up. And there we go. All right. The Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. That's the one. Thank you so much. Oh, you got yourself muted, Phil.
It's actually on YouTube.
There you go. That's it right there. Cool. Back to what Sandra, she said a lot of great things. But I want to highlight one that she did say. I'm going to go over some of y'all heads a little bit, and I don't mean to, but there's no other way to explain this. So if you believe in energy, which you got no choice for God's sake, okay? Then we're talking about there are different, let's just call them rays. Like the rainbow, the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, and I don't remember the ones, green, blue, indigo, violet. Yeah, man. I think that was actually the right order. Blue, green, or green, red. Anyway, doesn't matter because I want to focus on the orange and yellow. These two, where Tempestt at? The orange and the yellow give. These are what you would call these energies of power and suppression and oppression. So Sandra said a lot of wise things, but the genius level, brilliant wisdom that she displayed was probably, she tapped into something. Flesh and blood did not reveal that to her. Her Father up in heaven did. She said something. The negative force, the enemy in her language, will seduce you through orange and yellow rays of energy. This idea of being all powerful or exerting power over people. That's why you empaths get caught with this all the time. And then this yellow, this selfishness, these rays go hand in hand. So I view you as a subject. I view you as a slave. I even justify why I'm doing it to you. And the best way to get you to serve the enemy, I'm trying to use her language, or take the negative path, is a common language here in this illusion, is to seduce you with this orange and yellow power. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's this energy. Now, well, you probably don't understand the damn thing I just said, but let me simplify it now. It's the only way to explain that so I can simplify it. Sandra's right that you are being seduced, and you're being seduced for the positive path, as we would call it, or the negative path, as we would call it. You know, I got to use the words of this planet Earth. And I got to use this illusion. And she is right to say, Deanna, she's right to say, Frida, that if you are leaning towards, or, and I cannot stress this enough for God's sake, if you ain't chose a side, you are susceptible either side. This is why you got to choose a side. Every sacred text tells you, can't be lukewarm. This coffee was fantastic, but it's right here now. And it tastes like camel spit. It is lukewarm. I bet camel spit is hot and nasty and mucky, but you get the point. It is lukewarm. And every time I do this, it's highly disappointing. When I let it sit out for a while, if I put it in the freezer, oh, cold is good. Oh, hot, too hot. This is disgusting right now. You got to choose a side. And the enemy, as Sandra would say, oh, you ain't choose yet. Oh, free will. Look, let me throw in front of you this orange and yellow energy. Just actually, now that I expose you to it, you're gonna hear about it later because that's how the universe works. But think about this for a moment. How do I protect myself? Because that's what, like, I told you that I wanted to end there. I have her right. It's right there. It's like number 5. And we brought up Tempestt stories. It's like, read number 5. Read number 5 real quick in the thing. But we going back. It's full circle. And Sandra brought it full circle. Flesh and blood did not reveal her wisdom to her in that manner. She's way past. Only a grandmother can come up with this stuff she just said. You hear me? Only that. It's this in the chat. Number 5. Read it for me. Oh.
Number 5, how can we protect ourselves from the distortion of this illusion?
Give thanksgiving for each moment. Uh-oh. The human consultants like this kind of talk. See self and other self. Let me simplify that. Phil said we are one. So there's only self, and then yourself, you're just other hyphenated self. There's no out here. There's no Prophet Jerry. Prophet Jerry is my other self. Neil Donald Watts said there's one of us in the room. Okay, so there's one of us in the room, and right now there's 13 of us on this call. I've got self and 12 other selves. Still self, hyphenated. Just you're the other expression of me. Ooh, we teaching now. Okay. So this is what, the people with the consciousness, this is what we're saying. We're saying that you're just the other expression of me, beautiful as you could be. Whatever I see in you is also an extension of me. Read number 5 again real quick, John.
Number 5 is, how can we protect ourselves from the distortion of this illusion?
Give thanksgiving for each moment. See self and other self as the creator. Uh-oh. There I go again, Phil. Meddling. Open your heart. Always know the light and praise it. Give thanksgiving for each moment. I want everybody to listen to me. See self and other self as a creator. Open your heart. Always know the light and praise it. That is not original words from me. That was spoken sometime in February 1981 through sixth entity known as Ra, or the same energy, Seth, etc., etc., etc. Those are not my words. I would love for those to be my words. That made me look real smart just now, but those aren't my words. Those are not my words. Antonio, how can we protect ourselves? Many answers, but I don't want to violate your free will, Prophet Jerry. The one thing I can tell you for sure that is in every situation, give thanksgiving for each moment. Oh, can you tell them? Can you tell I'm closing? Give thanksgiving for each moment. But I don't like what happened in Uvalde. Give thanksgiving for each moment. This is what I told Tempestt, and I'm going to tell you what I told Tempestt, that I saved it to the end. I said, Tempestt, I feel you. I don't like it either. Not really? But I said, but this was for us, and it was perfect. Oh, I hear you. She was open and receptive. Listen to me, Yolanda. And I said, I guess this was a reminder for us that the world needs assembly of wanderers. And without this, we wouldn't move as quickly as we need to. Get that? Am I telling you that I can find the thanks in this mass shooting? Nope. But I still gave it. Now, if you go read the book of Psalms, the whole book of Psalms is about, Lord, I can't find it, but I give it to you anyway. Come on, help me, somebody. This is the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not
It's
want.
true.
Yes, sir.
It's true.
Watch it.
And I
Watch
just wanted
it.
to say one thing. I wanted to say one
Yes,
thing real
ma'am.
quick. I've been wanting to
Come
say a
on.
lot, but I have to hurry up. This morning I got up and I prayed. I said, we need to pray for this family, for the people who have been hurting in this situation, because there's nothing you can say or do because someone lost their child. And that pain is so painful. And that's why I don't like what Philip said earlier, I don't like to watch news. I don't like to watch it because it hurts. And even just hearing this stuff that's going on, it hurts me so bad to where I'm angry. And it's like, it's painful, but I know who God is, you know?
Watch yourself. Watch yourself.
It's like, because I know who he is, all I can do is say, thank you, Lord, and praise him. And not only that, just plead the blood of Jesus over my family, and give other people, God, give them comfort, give them peace. That's how I guard myself. Because there have been things that have happened in my own life. And it hurts. But you still go on because God is still the beginning and the end, period. And the same thing that he put in Jesus, he put in us. So out of our mouth, we speak it. Out of our mouth, we manifest it. And whatever his will is for our good.
That's right.
And we count it all joy anyway. I just had to say that real quick. I got to go back.
Well, you should have said
something wrong.
Okay, then. You should have said something. Yeah, I clap for her. You're supposed to say something. Yeah, I stop holding these words in. There's a great philosopher that walked upon this earth.
Well,
His name
in
is
that
Phil
space,
Sorrentino. Yes, ma'am.
in that space, I just wanted to say this, that we have to remember that one, the enemy is anything that is against us.
Yes.
That is humans. He cares nothing for us. And he has never been called the God of all things. He has never been given the privilege and the honor to have dominion over all things. He continually says, who are these? Who is this man? Who is man? So he is the prince of this system of things. We have to remember that when we think outside of the order of God, that we disrupt his order. But when we think inside of what he has given us to think, and that is, I have already given you all things. Now I'm waiting for you to do what you are asked to do.
I like it.
Heaven on earth is supposed to be. And that is ruling with streets of gold. I'm just saying. What before they get out of my neck? I'm just saying.
Watch it when you church folk talk. Y'all be having something to say. Yeah, buddy, keep on talking. That's what I'm talking about. No, that's power. That's power, power, power. Did you write down how I said protect yourselves? Mm-hmm. Can you put it in the chat? I want y'all. No. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want y'all to look at it. I got it memorized because whenever I struggle, Arshia, believe me, I forgot to tell you about the great philosopher Phil Sorrentino. I forgot to tell you about him. Great philosopher. So elimination is the key to life. Is what the great philosopher. So I got that quote right. See, look at me. I got that one right. So you get them words out of y'all. Don't hold them words in. Don't hold them words in. Eliminate. Get it out of you. Get it out of you because you have a word in you that is vital in your blessing and your understanding for sure. Give thanks. No, you read it. Let me see you. Let me put this up in.
Give thanksgiving for each moment. Others are the other expression of you. We are all one. See self and other self as the creator. Open your heart. Always know the light and praise it.
Just hold on. One more time. That's just it feels real good just to hear it. It washed over me so well. Just one more time. You have no idea how much this got me through. Go ahead.
How to protect yourselves from this world. Give thanksgiving for each moment.
Come on now.
Others are the other expression of you. We are all one. See self and other self as the creator. Open your heart. Always know the light and praise it.
Thank you so much. She set up my closing illustration. King Jehoshaphat was the fourth king of Judah under the divided monarchy. He was the son of Asa. We first meet King Jehoshaphat in 1 Kings chapter 15. King Jehoshaphat, young king. Militarily, he fortified his defenses. He did a good job. The Bible, the Hebrew Bible, quotes him saying, the Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed the ways of David. It's important because in the divided monarchy, 21 kings in the north, 20 in the south. Out of 21 kings in the north, 0 followed the ways of David, 0 were good. Out of the 20 in the south, only 8 kings did not succumb to power. Jehoshaphat was one of the first. And if you find yourself ever reading the Hebrew text, where tell Grace, hold her steering wheel. If you find yourself reading the Hebrew text, Jehoshaphat in 2 Chronicles chapter 20 got a whole prayer. It's called Jehoshaphat's prayer. Arshia, I'll spare you the details, but at verse 12, Jehoshaphat shows out. He says, Lord, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you.
Set on you.
Our
Bishop.
eyes.
Watch it,
Yes,
Bishop.
sir. Our eyes are stuck on you. Yes, Second Chronicles 21 to 34, but that's 2012. That's 2012. Yeah, that's how I remember that. 2012. Second Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 12 says, Lord, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are stuck on you. What Grace say? Tell her, you're going to watch it again. Listen, the reason I'm telling you that, struggled this week. I was grateful I had to cancel class. I didn't know what to tell y'all on Wednesday while still being of the light. I knew that sometimes the light must stand for itself, but I didn't understand at that moment how to stand and be the light without making that opportunity about me and what I think. I was having a difficult time separating source me from little me. Said another way, I was having a hard time being a citizen. With all these mass shootings, and I'm doing nothing about it but complaining. That's the truth. I didn't run for office. I didn't match gun lobbyist donations. I'm like everybody else on the gun issue. I got an opinion, but doing nothing about the solution. And I struggled. And then, Phil, it dawned on me. Remember what you know. Give thanks for each moment. Y'all not going to like this part. See the mass shooter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ask yourself. Uh-oh. Y'all 19, 20 kids. Ask yourself. See the two teachers. As yourself. And see the whole selves as the creator. Give thanks. And see the whole situation and everybody in it as the creator. And then I went, it's tough. Mass shooter is the creator. I know that. I know that. Wait a minute, Antonio. My God, open your heart. Right after that, I said to myself, all right, Usher. I take a deep breath, relax, open your heart. The universe is trying to tell you something that you are close to. Open your heart. Yes, everybody, in this situation, despite your opinion, the creator, open your heart. Take a deep breath, open your heart. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and always know the light. And I went, you right, something good gonna come out of this. I listened to Phil say it yesterday. I listened to Vastine say it yesterday. I listened to Susan say it Tuesday. Something good gonna come out of this. Then I found my way back through one action. Is know the light. Here's the best part. And praise it. And that's what I was missing. That situation knocked the praise out of me. Anybody can relate to that? You know, some people will knock the praise out of you. Don't get it twisted. And I had to remember my rent is behind. But give thanks in all situations. See self, another self as a creator. Open your heart. Always know the light. Praise it. See, my water bill is behind. They won't let me talk at my job and listen to class the way I want to. I got to sneak and tell Antonio the good thing I want to share my light with. And I really shouldn't be here at this job, but this is just a stepping stone. Give thanks each moment. Be self, another self as creator. Open your heart. Always know the light. Praise it. Arshia just put in the chat. My question is, are we in position? We can't see at work if we're not in position. So someone says, I'm trying to get into position, Arshia. Someone says, I am in position. For those of you saying, I'm trying, give thanks for trying. I'm not in position. Give thanks for not being in position to each moment. Then see self. I ain't like Arshia asked that question. She's the creator. She has the creator. I love that she asked that question because she's the creator. And the creator always asks good questions. See how this works? Open your heart. I found my way back to source me when I said, always know the light. Praise it. Sometimes we do a few of these steps. Sometimes we do all of them, but that last part. But as you leave this place, I don't care if you go in order, out of order, middle order, or whatever, just end with praise it. It is very difficult. And the human consultant's been doing since 1981, telling you the same thing I'm about to say in different words. It is very difficult to be mad and praise at the same time. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plant better. You can dominate. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for our last meeting as we come together. Love everybody. And congratulations for everybody who supported Chiquita as well. Love you, everybody.
Love you more.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good